The Square Ball Podcast.
Propaganda is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. levisolicitors.co.uk/The Square Ball for a 10% discount on your legal fees. 15% discount on your conveyancing instruction legal fees as well. Offer ends at the end of January 2022. Dan, Michael, and of course Moscow White here. Part 2 of the show. This is where we find out what West Ham thought about the cup game on Sunday, and straight into West Ham TV then, is it, Michael?
Yeah, there was nothing much of interest, to be honest. They seemed a bit underwhelmed by the whole thing. A bit
like the game itself.
In much the same way as we were, yeah. They were like, yeah, it was a good win. But this is what they had to say.
Wasn't a classic. It's not one that you're going to watch in a few years' time and think, oh, I'd watch that again. But we got the job done. I think we had the better of the first half. We had the better chances. Leeds didn't really offer much, did they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a tough one because obviously they've got injuries and I think they've got a few COVID cases as well, haven't they? So I think they had a few under-23s, didn't they? Did they have a few of the youngsters out? So, you know, I didn't think they were going to offer much anyway. Like once I see their lineup, I didn't know half of their players. But yeah, I mean, fair play to Leeds. They hung in there.
That's the best that can be said.
That's kind of it. It was more or less what we said, though, wasn't it? We were like, yeah, you kind of saw the team and you went, well, probably not. But never mind, let's have a look at it. And we didn't get battered, did we?
Was one of those two guys the oi oi guy from last year?
That's just all Cockney. That's from the opening of the like intro to the show. Is that
okay.
Oi oi? But they did sound quite similar, those two. So did say the Leeds fans were good though.
But I've got to say, credit to Leeds fans today, though. Like 9,000 come back.
Well, apart from afterwards. But
yeah, well, afterwards, but yeah, we won't talk about
that's
that.
football, isn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, but they brought 9,000 down to basically see, you know...
Yeah, 9,000 on bringing it down on a Sunday, 2 o'clock kick-off. Fair play to them, you know.
They didn't stop all game, did they? They was loud. So, yeah, you know, fair play to the Leeds fans for making the journey down.
How does your Cockney accent compare to these, Moscow? I can't hear a Cockney accent without hearing your version of it in my head.
We did get a tweet saying how much people enjoyed your Dick Van Dyke impression.
I'm probably just as Cockney as any of these people. What happened afterwards?
Yeah, I was just going to say, what was
there some afters?
There was some... That's football, isn't it?
Did it get a bit tasty?
Some violence on the streets.
There was a pitch invasion, but it wasn't a Leeds. It wasn't a Leeds fan.
Was it a child?
No, it was two grown-ups.
A protester?
Yeah. I don't really know what they were doing.
One of them was wearing like very slimline running leggings, as if they come prepared. Or maybe that's just what people wear nowadays in London.
Well, we're saying this almost on the anniversary of the Sheffield Wednesday 6-1 30 years ago, which you can check out on the Match Ball 30, by the way. That's out on Wednesday the 12th. And do you remember the pitch invader there? That's what immediately sprang to mind. That was all because that was a lady protesting against her taxes, wasn't it? And they showed her on ITV.
They did. This was not quite as glamorous. This was like a couple of drunk people. There were two, weren't there?
I think. I don't know.
I think he didn't show it on TV, but yeah, I did come across this on some of the footage. What people expect from doing this? I don't really know, but yeah, there was some bother.
Was it a bit naughty?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's some. It's mentioned.
He turned me fruit and vegetable all over.
It was mentioned on
I was only trying to sell him some antiques.
I think someone had disrespected someone's mother or Trevor Brookings' wife, maybe, and it all kicked off. But yeah,
It's been in the family for years.
I like it that they're all right with it. It's like, yeah, but I think that's probably something to do with the new stadium that they're like. I felt nice having it kicking off outside the ground. At least something's happening. Christ, at least it's better than just going to bloody H&M or whatever across the way.
A couple of people
shoplifting has been going down.
A couple of people did message me in the wake of this who went to this and just said, one of which Ashley said on the heroes and villains thing, you've got to nominate Upton Park as a hero in a roundabout way, because this is just different. It's a different club. It's a different experience, and our fans were singing to that effect, weren't they? Like, you're not West Ham anymore or whatever.
Yeah, we'll
sold your soul for this.
We'll get onto that in a bit.
Right, next one.
Hammer's chat. This was from a watch along, and the top comment on YouTube it made me laugh. It's worth repeating. Grasham Upson,
like Grasham Upson.
up, son.
Of course. So, but in the early days of organised football, some railed against spectatorism. I wonder what they would make of a watch along. It's like dogging cubes, which I enjoyed an awful lot as a comment.
Which is why we would never we won't do a watch along, will we? It's not for the best.
Probably not.
No.
I don't want people doing what I do, which is picking out little clips of us getting really upset. So because I do. The stuff that goes on watch-alongs, I'm not saying I don't do it.
Yeah.
But I just don't want people to see it. It's my own private.
It's private, isn't it?
It's my own private upset. And if you do it in a stadium full of people, it doesn't seem as mad.
It's a shared experience then, isn't it?
Yeah, because then everyone's doing it and it's like, it's fine.
There's no possibility of acting natural with a GoPro in your face.
There is that. But he had a go at, he was going through our team and he had a little go at saying Helder, which I enjoyed.
Saying what?
Hilde.
Ailing, Lorente, and Firpo.
That's completely broken him.
As the song goes, yeah. That's a Control-Alt-Delete situation, that, isn't it?
So, someone else, I didn't use any other clips of his, so I'll just drop him in here. Louis the 11th, is that right? XI, yes.
X1.
Or it could be G. It could be a Chinese name. Who knows?
Is Louis with an X your mistake?
Yes, it is.
Right, okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Because that does say Louis the
It does,
11th.
yeah. It was an S. But this is some YouTuber at the game, so these two young lads who were kind of just go in. They weren't West Ham fans. It seems to be a recurring theme. There are loads of people doing this.
Premier League tourists.
But he managed to nail Hjelde, only to fall down on an easy one.
Melier, they've got Firpo, they've got a centre-back called Hjelde and Llorente, Luke Ayling. They've got Koch and Bate in the midfield. Koch and Bate. And then they've got Harrison, Klitsch. I was about to say Reece James, Dan James, and they've got a youngster Greenwood up front. The Greenwood up front's quite good, but they've got Dallas, Rafinha, Forshaw on the bench. That's probably their main.
For Greenwood, if you're watching this, I've signed you on a couple of career modes, so respect. I know you. Keep what you're doing, keep it tight.
I love it how they've also just completely decided that Greenwood's good.
Yeah.
They've never
He's good on a computer game.
I'm going to say neither of them have seen him play ever, but they've decided. Oh, he is actually good.
But I like the fact that they're sort of sending it up as well. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep it tight.
But yeah, Bate.
Louis Bate.
I have to be honest though, because of growing up watching David Batty, when we got him, it did break my brain a bit because we spent years looking at the name Bates, and then my childhood references was Batty, and he's in this sort of hinterland between the two.
I remember when he used to play for us, it was very hard to type Tom Lees' surname without writing Leeds.
Yeah.
Your fingers naturally just go to it on the keyboard. I don't know if you found that, Moscow. It was just something I did every single time. I'm like, no.
Yeah, autocorrect with Lees
Not
was
Tom
always
Leeds.
an absolute nightmare. I mean, I'm always conscious that we are in glass houses with a big bag of stones when it comes to pronunciation, but
I just like the way he gave up on it.
Louis Bate is an absolute outstanding effort.
The young French starlet. What else have we got then? We've got from these guys.
As part of their watch along, I think it was after the game they did.
Did they do a watch along from inside the stadium?
Oh no, the Louis G was that's separate. This is from we're back onto Hammer's chat now. So they were doing a watch along. After the game, they did a quick, or it might have been at half time. I can't remember. They did a quick YouTube comments poll about whether the goal should have stood or not. Different opinions throughout in the main.
It is a game of opinions,
but it is worth. I think it's probably worth hearing the other side of it because you also realised how little they actually cared about the decision.
We can hear the other side of it and then decide they were wrong.
Yes.
Gary says yes. Adam, yes. Klavich, yes. Scarborough doesn't care. I'm a bit like that too. Says Simon, yes. Steve says no. Steve's the first one that said it's offside. Goal, offside. Yes, goal. Let's have a little look. Goal. Tight but right. I like that face. Goal, offside. Goal. Iron saying probably should have been ruled offside. Arthur saying if they're checking for offside, they should check for the foul. I agree with that one. Christian saying offside but a penalty. Tim saying offside. Iron Nixon saying sort of the offside should have been a penalty. Scott saying a goal. Brad saying offside. Chippy saying it wasn't a goal and it should have been a pen.
A variety of opinions.
Most of them thought it was a goal, and then several mentioned the penalty, which we didn't notice, which is possibly
because it was absolute nonsense.
It's possibly because we've got a slight bias.
What penalty?
I did go back and watch it. Gelder does have a bit of a grip of him as he goes past, as he turns.
Just don't even indulge these bubble-blowing idiots wanting a penalty.
He had a similar Cockney accent to you, though.
And also, what kind of idiot is like, goal should have stood, but we'll have a penalty? It's just shut your...
They show Scottish.
Shut your mouth. Well, yeah, but why is he supporting West Ham, man? He should be on the Hearts train with Phil if he likes a claret.
He was dressed like a Cockney.
Well, exactly. He's a wannabe, isn't he?
Was he dressed like in his Pearly King?
I don't know. He just had like he had a buttoned-up polo shirt and slicked hair. He looked like a Cockney, I would say.
Sort of dressed like Peaky Blinders kind of vibe.
Frank Lampard core.
He dressed a little bit like I imagine the Rory Chelsea man does.
Right. Which is what? How do you imagine he dresses?
Like that. In a Londony Cockney way. But yeah, that was the end of them.
Great.
So Alex Griffin then. So we're now on to non-West Ham fan.
Okay.
Although he does have the name of a snooker player, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he kind of fits in.
Or could have been one of those Bournemouth players. Maybe
the
bland,
generic.
Yeah, generic.
Yeah.
Regen Bournemouth.
But he's an Ipswich fan, so he's gone to this game. He's turned up. You're looking at me. Why would you be confused? Of course, an Ipswich fan.
The world's very confusing, isn't it?
Isn't the guy who isn't he called Ben, who has long hair and came to all our games in the EFL and was a YouTuber?
I can't remember.
Was he not an Ipswich fan as well?
There was an Ipswich fan.
What is it about Ipswich Town?
Maybe it's a rebrand. Maybe this is a rebrand. You don't know.
They're not very good, but are they that bad that you'll just go, I'll go and watch Leeds, see what I'll drive around the country watching other games? I think was it Benjamin Bloom? Is that his name?
Oh yes, he does exist. I've come across him.
Yeah, and he's long hair, and he kind of because he's very reasonable. Everybody sort of says, "Oh, he knows what he's talking about." But he's an Ipswich fan, wasn't he? He was going to game. His thing was he'd go to a game and they'd sit in his car outside and be reasonable about it. So that was him. And now
that's probably why he's never featured on this.
And now there's another Ipswich fan.
This one's a bit more.
Thing. Do you think they're mates? Do you think on the rare occasions when they both go to Portman Road, they're like,
these two won't be mates.
Sitting at each other like cats.
Alex Griffin's he's a bit more of a Larry presence. He's a bit more of a lad. Him and his mates, I think they've got Stone Island on, and they're like,
I'm right about the snooker thing, aren't I?
Busy boozing and
snooker cue in his back pocket
and what have you. He says carnage a lot. Whenever he was showing the footage from inside the ground,
total carnage.
Like West Ham's, it's carnage in here. I don't know. He's probably not a Cockney. I think he has got a weird Cockney twang from Ipswich. But was
it carnage in the Olympic Stadium?
No, you could very clearly see it was just a goal.
It was when
Mo Farah did that run in.
No, I was going to say the guy who his hamstring went and his dad had to help him over the line in 1992. That was carnage, wasn't it?
Yes.
Dennis.
Was it Devon Malcolm or someone else? I can't remember. I'm trying to go back to like early 90s
in a different Olympic stadium at that.
Oh yeah, I mean it was not built then.
The Olympic Stadium, they move it from city to city, don't they?
Yes, but have you seen the one they're doing in Qatar, which is going to be they can pack it all up and take it somewhere else?
Some of the World Cup stadiums are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, well that's one of them. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not an Olympic stadium though, is it?
No, I'm just saying you can make a pack up stadium. It might work. Brentford looks like you could. I don't know whether you could or not. They can pack it up and take it back to the Championship.
I'm on Pinterest. I found 20 photographs of Olympic athletes crying. The most inspiring. I don't know if that's the sort of thing you wake up in the morning and you need to look at some photos of athletes crying to get you inspired for the day.
I want to look at people enduring the worst moments of their lives. Search.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway, what's this Mockney snooker player Griffin doing anyway?
Well, he's outside. Bear in mind, he's an Ipswich fan. He's gone to a West Ham game. He's outside the ground trying to interview West Ham fans, and this is what he finds. He interviews three sets of West Ham fans in total. This is the first.
I'm here with Luke. We're outside the stadium. West Ham Leeds today. How are you feeling for this? How are you feeling for this one?
Excited. I think West Ham could go on and do a job here today, man. I think West Ham should be looking to go on and win the FA Cup, to be fair. So
really?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? We're in Europe. Leicester last season. Why not?
Okay.
Every club around that kind of will be thinking, why not? Let's go. This is time for us to go and get a title. Yeah.
So score prediction. What did you say?
I think we're going to get a lot of goals. I think West Ham 3-1.
Okay, who's going to score the goals?
Say Antonio double with maybe a Lanzini rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I want to ask you one more question, mate. I ask everyone this question. You've told me off camera you're a Man United fan. I've baited you out there. So give me your favourite Man United chant.
Ooh, but that's all to do with players and.
Go on, let's hear it.
Di Maria, there he goes again. My, how can he assist you?
Football needs to be reset. Shut it down.
What's he doing there?
What's going on?
So an Ipswich fan interviewing a Scum fan outside a West Ham Leeds game to sing a song about a Paris Saint-Germain player.
Yes, someone who hasn't played for Man United since, I just checked, 2015.
I mean, I don't mind people going to games. If you just want to go and watch a game of football and it's happening. And that's kind of what's happened at the London Stadium anyway. That's why it's the London Stadium, so tourists just accidentally buy tickets to the London football team and they end up watching bloody West Ham.
He does manage to speak to one actual West Ham fan in the middle.
There was one there, was there?
There was one there, an old boy with kind of gappy teeth. He looks like a proper West Ham fan. He looks like a
chicken run.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he looks like a good old fashioned
Bobby Moore.
Like he's smartly dressed, which I think is nice. But then. So he's managed to get one, but then I think playing it safe, having been maybe scarred by the fact he's spoken to a Scum fan, he goes for some people who are fully kitted out in West Ham gear.
It's the ultras.
And this is what they have to say.
Right, I'm here with 3 West Ham fans. Leeds today in the FA Cup. How are we feeling?
Excited.
Yeah? Excited?
Yeah.
What's the score going to be? Cheers, mate.
2-0.
2-0 to West Ham?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, 3-0.
3-0 West Ham. Right, one more question. We'll keep it short. I ask everyone this question. What's your favourite West Ham song? Favourite West Ham chant?
What's something like that?
No?
I don't know.
No, you don't want to do it?
We don't know.
Like player or something.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Right.
I'm as confused as they are.
Yeah.
Bless them. I don't think were they quite young? You've watched the video of this.
Not young.
Did it strike you as like first game types?
Probably, yeah. They're very obviously tourists who've they've got half and half scarves on. They've kind of gone for the day.
Cheap tickets as well, with it being
the
FA Cup. It's more, they're probably as bemused by that guy.
Just thinking about
I don't mind people going to the first game and all that kind of stuff. I think dear old Mr. Griffin needs to maybe select more carefully, because he's not got the real West Ham views.
Assuming we stay up this year, that we push the button on redeveloping Ellen Road and we end up with a 60,000 seater or whatever, starting to think we shouldn't bother.
Keep it small.
Just make it smaller.
Yeah, you need to show you need to have proof of either like past purchases or lineage, ideally. If you can prove like you've got family.
It's just, let's shave off 5,000-6,000 off the capacity, maybe cap it at 30,000, like when we won the league 30 years ago, and attendances can just hover around the high 20s, and we don't have to have tourists in.
It's hard because
I don't want the revenue. I don't want to compete at the top of the Premier League. I'd quite happily let's go down.
I don't want people to not.
League.
I don't want people to not have an experience of a football game. Is the thing. It's hard, but I think also if you're in London and you want to go to a football match, don't go to West Ham because it looks obviously shit from the pictures. Go to Charlton or something. Just there are loads of good.
But the Charlton
in London.
But Charlton have had the sofas in the past. But have they got a skating rink around the back of the?
Yeah, and they don't have a shopping centre next door. I think that's the thing with West Ham. It's a complete day out package. You can go shopping. You can go to the game. You can do all this.
Go to Nando's afterwards.
It's an integrated leisure experience.
That big slide.
That's why
that big slide as well. Don't forget next to it.
That's why this sort of thing happens. I would welcome anybody to an enlarged Elland Road. We just need to make sure there's room for that nobody's replaced. So that you can actually find a real Leeds fan within the vicinity of the stadium, and maybe also like rapid training course, because there's a lot of new Premier League fans. It seemed popping up. I remember reading Philemon Hay wrote about Darko Milanic on his Athletic website, and in the comments
on his Athletic,
somebody said
the New York Times, we love you guys.
In the comments, somebody was saying, "Oh, I'm a recent Leeds fan. I knew nothing about any of this. That Cellino character sounds crazy." And it's like, so you realise people are new to this, and you want to some kind of fast track education,
almost like a citizenship test kind of thing, but for Leeds fans, and obviously better than the citizenship test, where you go through a brief history of what's happened, petty grievances, people you don't like, clubs you don't like, reasons for it. And once you've sort of read up on that, then you realise that maybe it acts as a gateway before you can go through the ticket website to buy tickets.
I want people to.
Got to be the other way around. You need to get them to go first and then enjoy the day out, and then you tell them, right, actually, do you want to know why this is? You've got involved in something terrible now. Wait until they're in.
Right.
Hook them and then hit them with the misery.
Like drugs.
Yeah, you need to. Because if you tell people from the start what supporting Leeds is really like, then I spent most of the last decade, whenever people would say, "Oh, you're a football fan," I'm like, "Yeah." And it's, "Oh, yeah, I've been thinking of like maybe going to Elland Road again." Don't. It's terrible. It'd be the worst decision you'd ever make getting into football. Whereas now we're in Premier League and all that. It's a different equation. So you can allow people to enjoy it, and then you enrich their experience by pointing out all the reasons it's terrible.
Right. Good. Anyway, back to
that's the other thing about those. Happy Hammers, they sounded far too happy. That's the thing.
I suppose football's not
a nice time.
Football is not a happy experience, is it, for the vast majority of the time?
And even
it's misery.
The Scum fan as well. There's too much good cheer there. And maybe he's done it to get away from, the misery that is Solskjaer Rangnick's terrible construction. So a day out at West Ham is just a blessed relief. Or it sounds more like he's actually blocked everything out that's happened at Old Trafford.
Do you think he's been to Old Trafford?
Di Maria left. Yeah, he's been a couple of times as a treat.
I think the thing is, I don't mind tourists, but I feel like I want them to throw themselves into it a bit more.
Yeah, that's it. And maybe that was why I was wondering about if the last people were young and had that first game.
No, they were like mid 20s to
the other thing,
early 30s.
I mean, that's the other thing.
Pull up the drawbridge, smaller ground.
A Premier League ticket, especially in London, is horrendously overpriced. So an FA Cup match, which I assume the tickets were reduced for this, is the moment when you're going to attract people who go, "Oh, I would love to go to every game because my room at home, you can't move for Julian Dick's Corinthian toys. This is the only opportunity I get to actually go to a match." I remember going to I won a ticket to go and see Leeds play Leicester, and it was O'Leary's first game, and that was a way of getting in. It wasn't a won a ticket. You got one with if you subscribe to Leeds magazine, you got a free ticket to a game. And so I sat in the East Upper.
So we're blaming James Brown for this then?
I sat in the East Upper with an entire block to myself. Because that's how popular Leeds United were last time we were in the Premier League.
Because that's what you insisted upon.
Right, back to the clips then. And Alex Griffin, they were impressed by us, and that's the main thing, isn't it? That's the important thing to take from any of this.
Look, that just kicked off massively. All I'm going to say is Leeds fans were class. They were proper loud. But West Ham won 2-0. They're through to the next round. Okay.
Someone sticks right in and goes, "West Ham fans are shit." And he goes, "Yeah, okay."
Those are the people he needed to be interviewing, isn't he? If it's all kicking off and the hardcore are giving it Sam, get in there with your little microphone and your camera and have a chat to some of those boys and girls.
You can see where he was in the stadium. Actually, they put a still in, and you can see, because he was looking towards the Leeds fans, you can see just how shit that stadium does look again from this angle. When you can see the massive expanse. Put the tourists in there.
Yeah.
If you fail the test, you have to watch the game from within the
behind the fence,
from behind the
in the roller rink,
the roller rink of shame. You get a deck chair in the roller rink if you can't prove yourself to know.
You're allowed to watch it on telly, and they'll put some tellies in maybe, or
if you can't identify a picture of Ludek McCloskey, you get to watch the game from in there instead.
There are a couple of other actual West Ham fans, just to quickly wrap up, who were in the press. Rob wrote a blog highlighting that we always get bad press out of London off the back of a West Ham game, but The Guardian sent Jacob Steinberg, who is a West Ham fan, and so unsurprisingly the adjectives used about Leeds are unkind.
Naive defending for the first goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, naive defending, and then but it's and also it made it sound like West Ham,
the old naive offside.
West Ham were Brazil 1970 by the sound of this. Declan Rice was always in charge in midfield, and Marcelo Bielsa's defenders spent most of the contest bouncing off Michael Antonio, a barnstorming presence who was still going deep into added time, racing clear down the right to set up Jared Bowen's clincher. And then Matt Law, who is at the Telegraph, who we know better as a Frank Lampard fan, was similarly gushing, and he wrote that it was no surprise that Leeds made a change at the break, sending on Rafinha to replace Sam Greenwood. The change did not make a lot of difference for Bielsa's team, who largely remained toothless after the restarts. And just to go through, so according to him, Stuart Dallas, unused substitute on this. Older Louis Batty got a 5 out of 10, as Rob pointed out, probably marked down for an anonymous second half performance. But
he left precious Chelsea, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, we may as well not have bloody gone to read some of the London reporting on this.
And we get to do it all again next week. Great. Let's go into the wider world of propaganda now then. And what have we got?
Well, you mentioned
we
Rob.
got some feedback, didn't we?
You mentioned Rob there. He's angered a Burnley fan.
Yes.
The Burnley fan who can write.
David, well, he can write a bit. Because he did try to send this feedback twice. The first one was just a blank email.
I mean, we've got his email address here. Should we read it out?
Let's not. He's called David. That'll do, won't it?
Yeah.
But there was an article about Charlie Taylor, which I must admit, when I got this email, I'd not actually read the article about Charlie Taylor. I assumed we'd been much harsher about him, but
no, I mean,
it was fine.
David describes it as an article ridiculing Charlie Taylor, but our brother Rob did not ridicule Charlie Taylor. He just pointed out that he's not really got a lot better or worse than when he left Leeds, and how you feel like there's still some potential there, and the kind of the villainy accusations that follow him from Leeds fans, because he was booed at the game, wasn't he, because of not playing against Wigan. It's all feels a little bit unfair because he was young then, but it's all kind of, it just seems like you wonder what would have happened if a player who was one of Burnley's best attacking players on the day had actually gone to a club that, or played for a manager that values an attacking fullback, and how much more there might be for Charlie Taylor to
In other words,
do.
had he not gone to a shithole like Burnley.
Yeah, so it wasn't ridiculing Charlie Taylor.
Well, David wasn't happy anyway. He says, as a Burnley fan, just reading the article ridiculing Charlie Taylor, you seem to find the bottle missing Charlie and it's in Matt Luton quite funny, but I suppose that's your archetypal thick Leeds fan. No wonder the majority of football fans hate your club. Just can't wait to see your club implode again. Up the Clarets.
Thank you, David.
There he is. Do we want Burnley are going to implode, aren't they? That's the thing.
Yes, they'll be relegated long before we ever are.
Because they're probably going to be relegated, Dycheless, and then with the crypto bros trying to sell NFTs of Charlie Taylor.
The reference to the bottle was, as Rob wrote, was Taylor sensibly ducked out of the way, instead feigning indignation at the crowd as if he hadn't been part of Leeds' team subjected to even more vicious scorn from Elland Road's fans. So he's pointing out that Charlie Taylor probably had more metaphorical bottles thrown at him when he was an actual Leeds player during the dark years than anything that the Burnley player who was pretending to be hurt. I mean, it did hurt him, but it wasn't the player who was hit so much. It was his mate who was going, oh, go down, let's make a big deal out of this. And it's probably a bit of respect to Lawton in the end that he actually was like, no, I'm going to...
Even though he's just called him Lawton when he's called Loughton.
But no...
Lawton.
No
at
respect.
Least Lawton.
No respect to David.
Lawton.
No respect to David.
No respect to David.
Well, thank you for getting in touch. If you happen to be listening, David, which you're probably not, but thank you for getting in touch. Were you tempted to fire back a response like that? Was it that Bradford City fan who you replied to saying, thanks, we'll try not to cry?
Just deleted it.
Yeah.
Just couldn't be bothered. I thought I'll reply to it on this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you've got no right of reply.
I don't want to get into an exchange with him, do I?
Derek Redmond. Yeah, who got injured in Barcelona, the runner.
Yeah.
But it was in the same Olympic Stadium. They moved to Barcelona for that.
Yes, the 1992.
I am going to persist with that really
his hamstring suddenly tore, and then his dad came and helped him over the line.
And we're signing him as a striker in this window. Right, let's do something more about Burnley.
Yeah, well, just to stick with him, I thought we'd have a look at our relegation rivals. Two of which managed to get a bit of an embarrassing defeat in the Cup. Burnley lost to Huddersfield, and so going back to talk Burnley, he was pretty down after we beat him, and it's not gone much better for him.
We have Leicester next, then Arsenal. We also have Liverpool sometime soon, and Man United. We are fucking woeful. We are going down.
Good. You can't go down in the Cup.
No, but they are anyway. So that's one relegation place taken up. That's good.
Yep.
I'm looking to Newcastle as well for the next one. They
do your duty, lads.
They were very much the Leeds of this round, weren't they? Losing at home to Cambridge, and they didn't rest players either. They did it with new signing in the team. Got rid of Steve Bruce. Obviously, that was holding them back. They've got rid of Mike Ashley.
Might be signing Chris Wood.
They might be signing Chris Wood or one of another dozen strikers. They're very much taking the approach of like just putting in bids for everyone, I think, because they need someone. But yeah, they managed to lose to Cambridge with a full strength side, which was funny. So Magpie TV here, giving his verdict on Newcastle.
Willock is an absolute joke. He is so bad, man. What is going on with him? Does he need no fans? Do want to go back into lockdown so Willock can play? How is he that bad? How is he that shit? Julian on the day, poor. St. Maximin, poor. No employment from anyone. No idea, no identity. It was just so painful to watch. Sell-out game the day now. Sell-out game, freezing cold January. And we were that bad. We were so bad. So bad. Well, at least we're concentrating on getting relegated now, eh? Jesus.
At least he's having a laugh with it.
I don't think he's having a laugh. I think he's quite miserable, which is good because I didn't used to mind Newcastle, but frankly, they all deserve to go down now after being so delighted to be taken over by such bastards. So, or an investment group, depending on which way you choose to.
It could be an investment group full of bastards.
That's also true. Yeah. But yeah, that's good. So they're both accepting their fate.
In our investment group, we've got LL Cool J. I happened to get some Spotify spat out some LL Cool J when I was driving in the way in this morning. I felt that was a nice little join up of brands, you know.
Very nice. But I think with them, between Burnley and Newcastle, I mean, Norwich and Watford will accept going down anyway.
Did Norwich play in the FA Cup this weekend?
They did. They had a fortunate win against Charlton.
Okay, and I know Watford lost 4-1 to Leicester, so that's kind of...
Watford and Norwich know they're going down. They don't even care.
I mean, Watford aren't even in the relegation places yet, are they?
Yeah, but they're more than happy to go down. They'll volunteer for it if necessary at the end of the season. If we just say we don't want to, they'll go, oh, it's fine.
I'm just trying to put a little bit of a optimistic light on our position because we have 4 teams below us who are all convinced that they're going down, and there's only 3 relegation places available anyway. So
exactly.
Leave them to fight out, I say.
That's what I'm saying. We've already got Norwich and Watford. They'll go down anyway. It's fine. They're not even bothered. And then Burnley and Newcastle are both saying they're down too. So we're fine.
Yeah,
all 4 of them are down.
So that's the good.
Great.
That's the positive to take from the week.
That is the
it's
high.
Been a great FA Cup weekend.
That's the high to end on for this episode of Propaganda. We've got the main weekly show to do after this one, so look out for that.
The West Ham preview, eh?
Where we do Leeds United news, which we've got some actual Leeds United news, probably concerning injuries. We preview West Ham. Anything interesting to say about that?
Oi,
and
etc.
We will be picking the week's heroes and villains. So we'll see you across on your feed on that show in a bit. Look out for it.
The Square Ball Podcast.